Hello and welcome to the second installment of my Farming A to Z series. I'd like to start off by showing a defense while I talk a little bit about what's going to be covered in this and then the next episode. This episode will just basically cover what to look for while you're searching for someone to farm. And as was said by, I believe, Daddy, the next button is your friend whenever you're raiding. It doesn't matter if you're cup punting or if you're farming. Don't be afraid to hit that next button unless you're low on gold. Always try to keep a little gold around just in case. After this episode, I think there may only be one more, possibly two, but this will mostly cover the basics of farming. I may get a little bit more into the higher cup hunting farming and uh, how to almost schedule your farming to make sure you farm more per day. This attack, the one I'm showing because he does quite well against my base, even for the level of his troops. Look at those level 5 troops. He's got guts attacking someone with level 10 walls there. But his attack was just about perfect. He did a pretty much perfect lure. As you'll see coming up, his spells are actually almost perfectly placed. Obviously, he's using Hog Riders. The design I have right now doesn't do so well against Hog Riders. It wins against everything else. I've got wins against just about every other type of army. Maybe one loss to witches, and that was a 1-star. But doesn't do so well against Hog Riders. I lose about 60% of the Hog Rider matches. Perfectly placed spell. If you're using Hog Riders, you always want to place your heal spell on the Wizard Towers. And actually, I've been using one heal with my balloon attacks now, if I ever have to go into Wizard Towers, because one heal spell can entirely negate the damage of a Wizard Tower. I don't know why I use that heal in the center, though. It's only 2 Tesla and an Archer Tower. He managed to miss all of my traps except one in the center. But he did manage to set off all my giant bombs and waste a bunch of my gold. Hog Riders just go down the line there. I would have possibly won if he hadn't had a little bit of that heal spell left while they were running down the channel, because that giant bomb there would have killed the Hog Riders off if they hadn't healed just a little bit. And now it's just a matter of him cleaning up my base, and he's actually going to get the 3-star. I'm more worried about the fact that I lost 2,000 Dark Elixir to a level 66, which is quite embarrassing. Also, it's impressive for him, even though he's using Hog Riders, to be a level 66 up in Master League. No, not my Dark Elixir. And that about wraps up the 3-star. Almost got his hogs there at the end. This attack actually prompted me to change up my base design. As you'll see up here, I haven't tested it yet, I just made it. I'm hoping tonight it'll do pretty good. It doesn't have as much protection on the Dark Elixir though, which is what I'm worried about. Trying a bit of a southern teaser. As you can see, the walls are segmented, everything's symmetrical, upward facing expos, unlurable clan castle. Obviously a hog or a balloon can lure any clan castle, but should be pretty good. Got good coverage on most of my defenses. You can see down below, I've got the elixir storages outside to hold things out there. Just keep them out there under fire for longer. My archer tower is completely covering all those army camps. My mortar's covering that. As you can see, I've got those giant bombs there. That's for witches. If witches are spawned, their skeletons will attack the little builder's hut, and then they'll try and move in. The witches will actually come down and get caught in the giant bombs after the skeletons trigger them. Same thing is supposed to happen down here, I'm hoping. The skeletons are more like you go left and right while the witches will go in, because it's a 2-spot difference between the archer tower and the mines, between the 1-spot difference between the storage and the mines and the other mines. So the more likely The melee are more likely to go left and right, while the range are free to head inwards and land on the giant bombs. Up here, I'm gonna actually be showing an attack that I did that'll show what you should look for, but I actually kind of messed up, but I still was able to pull off a 1-star and get the resources that I wanted. Up here, we have this guy from Bonby Power. I go ahead and try to lure his Archer Queen and accidentally send my balloon over there, but it still works. Just barely trigger the Archer Queen. Bring out that minion to bring it down there out of the way of defenses. I love finding bases like this, where there's huge gaps in the anti-air defense. Trying to lure the Archer Queen a little farther out before I swarm with minions. Line of balloons. And drop a rage to try and get him to move a little faster. And the rage could have been better placed. And I assume since he didn't have a league badge, and he had all those gravestones, which is one thing you want to look for, that he didn't have reinforcement troops. But I had to use my lightning there. I tried to drop the lightning where they were grouping up most. I got most of them. But now that I've cleared out that whole area, just waiting for that wave of balloons to die. And then I just draw out the remaining archers just a little bit. As you can see, I've got almost a straight shot to the dark elixir storage, which is what I'm going for. Just take out those little archers. Go straight in for that air defense. That's the thing I'm worried about most. If you're farming and you're gonna hit a defense, always aim for the one that'll screw you over the most. Get that done first. Get that rage in there. Obviously, if you're farming gold, you don't really want to use that many spells unless you find a really big find, something like 400,000. I'm surprised he didn't have Inferno Towers, because he was obviously active enough recently enough that he has Dark Elixir in the storage and also has level 4 expos. So I'm not sure what's going on there with no Inferno Towers and only level 6 Tesla. I'm using minions to pick off what I want up top, anything that's exposed, anything I can get, because I want that 50%. I don't really want to lose 30 trophies in Master League. It happens a lot, though. I barely keep my trophies. And since there's 683 left, I don't want to just leave it. So I send in one last wave of minions there, just to clean up. Because of how I was able to clean up all the defensive buildings with my balloons, I can get in there, and those last little 2 minions out of range of the air defense can take out the entire storage by themselves. And that about wraps up that raid. I got 1 star, 3,000 Dark Elixir. Had to use all 4 spells, though. I'm not too happy about that, but at least there's the 1 gem boost this week, or actually this month, rather. Coming up here, something that should be more familiar with most of you farmers, gold farming raid, specifically using the BAM Barb Archer minion. For a second, I forget to zoom out. But right now, he's luring the Archer Queen. And that was the Archer Queen dying when the screen shook. Basically using the barbarians as a tank, just fanning them out. You don't want to send them all under splash. Archers in lines, that way they don't get splashed too badly. Still, you don't like having anything under level 5 wizard tower for that long, especially tier 1 troops. There's an accidental rage. Could be worse. It's a waste of about 40,000 gold. But in the long run, that's not that much, as long as you don't do it every day. Total of, I believe, 460,000 gold he got this raid. An almost perfectly placed jump spell. Could have been over just a tiny bit so it can get into the more into the core. But got that P.E.K.K.A exactly where he wanted it. This army is rather fast to make, so it's great for gold farming down in Gold League or Low Crystal is where you want to be. As you can see, he attacked someone who had empty Inferno towers and already had some gravestones up there, which is really your most viable targets, the ones that'll get you the most gold per hour. You can attack active players. You obviously don't want to deploy minions into splash damage like wizard towers, or into too much air defense, or any upward facing expos. Those will totally wreck minions. Also, try to wait to deploy your Barbarian King if you can. I know he can tank pretty well, but you really don't want him to tank. You want to have him as many raids as you can get and have him come in and clean up really quickly afterwards. As you can see, this person he attacked was not ready to go to Town Hall 10. Those are your best targets, the ones who go way up in Town Halls and then realize how bad it is to have done that, and then end up quitting with their gold mines and elixir collectors rather upgraded pretty high. Sure, he used two spells, one he didn't need, but that's 466,000 gold. Obviously, you don't want to always go for that. Look for something around 150,000 plus gold, and you should be good, especially if it's all in the collectors. 200,000 if you have to go for storages. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching.